guys, it's Marissa, and today's video is going to be everything your mom never told you about periods. And I know you guys like these kind of like girl talk, chatty kind of videos, so I definitely wanted to make this for you and just kind of give you guys some facts and some info that you might not know about. So I know for me personally, it was really scary to start my period, and I mean, my mom did the best she could, but there were some things that she just didn't know about, so I wanted to kind of hopefully share some of the things that I've learned with you all. So one topic of conversation that's still like a really big issue around periods is the tax on pads and tampons, and 67% of women who have had a period think that the tax on pads and tampons is a form of sexism, and I actually have to agree with this. Like, I think there's no reason there should be a tax on it. Like, it's bad enough you have to pay for it anyway. And there's definitely been a big shift towards more sustainable options like menstrual cups and menstrual discs. And this is the cup that I have. It's the Ziggy cup from Intimina. So I wanted to start off with like a few period facts that I thought were really interesting. And the first is 57% of people feel more comfortable talking about periods when they're using a euphemism like that time of the month or Aunt Flo. And this is really interesting because it shows that there's still a lot of taboos around talking about menstruation, and that a lot of people still consider periods to be a really taboo topic. Like for me, I personally feel really comfortable with just saying like period, tampon, vagina, like things like that. But I know if I'm talking to someone else and they're not comfortable with saying those things, I might try and be like, oh, that time of the month, or like I might kind of tone it down for them. But I know for me personally, like I feel like over the years I've just gotten more and more comfortable with talking about it. Like it's totally normal to me. So 3 in 5 women don't think that their school's health education classes helped prepare them for what to expect on their periods. And I actually have to agree with this as well. I think my health education class was totally bogus. It was like a class filled with a bunch of like giggling boys who just didn't take it seriously, and you felt like you couldn't ask a question. So I definitely agree with this. Like I do not think that my health classes prepared me for periods. 7 out of 10 girls were taught to manage their periods privately and discreetly. And 37% of people think that talking about periods is taboo. And women ages 18 to 24 were actually the most likely age group to think that society views periods and menstruation as really like shameful. I know for me personally, I would always think that like I needed to hide my period at school, and I was always really like embarrassed and scared and nervous that like, oh, other people are gonna find out I'm on my period and like I need to hide it. And that's actually another reason why I like the Ziggy cup, is because you don't have to change it every like 2 to 4 hours. So if you're at school or something and you have a really long day, then it's just perfect. And periods are just a normal part of life. They're nothing to feel ashamed about or embarrassed about. So I love just getting into my routines and kind of using good quality period products. Also, something that I've really learned over the years is that all periods are not created equal. Everyone experiences their period differently. I know in health class we're kind of taught like this standard one size fits all, you know, your period comes every 28 days, but actually your period can come sooner than every 28 days. It can come later than every 28 days. And you know, some girls can experience really heavy, painful cramps and bloating, and then for other girls it can be super light and like barely even noticeable. And also your voice undergoes changes when you're on your period, and skipping a period is actually very normal as well. I'm always getting tons of comments from girls that are saying, I skipped my period this month and I know I'm not pregnant, like what's going on? I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it. It could be stress, it could be changes in your diet, changes in your activity level, and sometimes the blood can appear brighter red or darker. And darker blood, I know a lot of people are concerned about it, that say that, oh, it kind of looks brownish. Well, darker blood basically just means that the blood is a little bit older, it's taking longer to leave your uterus. So another thing that I really never learned about is discharge, and you wouldn't believe how many comments I get asking about discharge, people thinking they're dying, not knowing what to do. I feel like discharge really has thrown everyone for a loop because it's just something that they don't really teach you and that you never really learn about, and that is just kind of there and you're just left to figure out what it is. And most of the time discharge is completely normal. I know there's some cases where it can mean that you might have an infection or something, and obviously if it's getting really painful, you're gonna want to see a doctor, but most of the time it's very normal and it just means that your vagina is cleaning itself out. So menstrual cups are also an amazing option, and I feel like so often menstrual cups are really underrated when they can be the best option to use. And they're great for sleeping or exercising or swimming. And this is the Ziggy cup from Intimina. And what's actually different about this cup is that it's a flat fit menstrual cup. So it just fits a lot higher in your vagina and it just kind of like rests more snugly on your cervix. If you do have a partner as well, then this cup really does allow you to be more intimate when you're on your period without staining your sheets. I know for a lot of you guys that are in college and might be a bit older, you might have a partner that you want to be active with, so this is just a great option for you too if you're at that age. It also collects up to 77 milliliters of blood and it's super comfortable. It really just kind of lets you live your life uninterrupted. And something else I wanted to mention about the Ziggy cup by Intimina is that it's also made of medical grade silicone. So I am gonna link the Ziggy cup by Intimina below for you guys. They also have the Lily cup, which is a great option as well. And I know that menstrual cups are a very, very popular topic, and a lot of you guys are always asking me to make more videos on menstrual cups. So comment below what kinds of videos you would want to see in the future about them. Do you want to see more like how to insert a menstrual cup, or like what do you want to see? So for me, this is actually one of the weirdest, craziest, most accurate period facts for me, and it's learning how the weather actually affects your period. So your period actually tends to be on average 1 day shorter in summer, and actually you're supposed to have more period symptoms in the winter time. And for me, when I learned this fact, I was like, oh my god, it makes so much sense now, because my period symptoms in winter are like so much worse. PMS, it's real guys, it's terrible. So in wintertime, you're supposed to have more period pain as well as more emotional and physical PMS symptoms. I know for me personally, I definitely have more physical and emotional PMS symptoms when it's colder out and when it's winter time. Like, I really didn't even understand why my periods were so much worse in the winter time, but that's one thing I learned that was just mind-blowing to me. So getting to know your body is super important, just so that you can live more in tune with yourself and so that you can help prepare for your period a lot better. So hopefully these facts helped you guys out and you learned something that you might not have known before this video. And I love you guys so much. Mwah. Big kiss. Oh, and don't forget to comment below any other period video recommendations that you have. And bye guys!